Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton. I'm here with Mark Siekmann today from BILD. Welcome, Mark. You okay?
Hey, thank you for the invitation. I'm really good. How are you?
Not bad, yeah. Pleasure to have you on. Obviously, massive outlet BILD, and you work for the Schalke side of it, so it's absolutely a pleasure to have you on. Absolutely the right person to talk to about Jonjoe Kenny at the moment, so we'll ask you a few questions about him and how he's getting on during his loan move. How has he performed so far this season?
Great. He has been a really great improvement for Schalke at the right back position. They didn't really have a full back on that position on the right side last season. Daniel Caligiuri was playing here. I honestly wasn't quite sure how well he would perform because I hadn't seen a lot of games of him, but he's probably the biggest surprise of the Schalke season so far.
Oh, really? Yeah, that's impressive considering they've got several. So what have been his kind of key areas of strength?
He's a fighter. He's what you could see from the very beginning is that he's a typical English player. He's not giving up in any one-on-ones. He doesn't want to give up the ball. Which is a positive thing for a defender. He's a mean player. He always has his foot somewhere where the other player doesn't want to have it. It's painful to play against him. And he's also getting better and better at his offensive skills. He's trying more. Although he himself says he has to produce more chances, more goals. But it's fine. I mean, he's very young. It's his very first season on the professional level. His full season, I guess. Yeah. And he's a starting player. So what more can you want?
Yeah, he's done well to establish a starting place. I think he needed some kind of improvement to his technical side of the game, like positioning, for example. And he seems to have got that at Schalke, to be fair. But have you seen any weaknesses within his game?
Of course, there's a lot of room to improve. Let's say it this way. He's a young player. It's been his first season playing pretty much every game until he got hurt just recently. I wouldn't say weaknesses, but of course he has to be more efficient in the offensive part of the field. Maybe he has to be a little bit more calm in some situations, not giving up unnecessary fouls. But otherwise, that's just minor things when you have the overall perspective of a great season so far.
Yeah, definitely. He does need to keep his head a little bit more. He is a determined player, though, and that's what you want, especially, I do think Everton and Schalke are quite similar in that way from what they demand from their players. But yeah, just to check up as well, you mentioned his injury. How is that situation at the moment? Is he close to coming back?
Well, I hope we will know more just in a few minutes when we have the press conference here. But he had some ankle issues, his ligaments. But I think he should be... If he isn't fine for Sunday against Mainz, he should be fine for the big game against Leipzig next weekend.
Oh, brilliant. That's the quick turnaround then. Brilliant. Also, the fans seem to have really taken to it. I've seen some reaction on Twitter. The German fans seem to really I don't know if it's down to his determination and the way he plays, but what would you put that down to, the fact that the fans have taken to him so quickly?
Oh, they love him. They love his style. You said it. Everton and Schalke, they're quite similar. When you think about the background of the fans of the city, industrial culture kind of, and they love the tough style of game. They love players who, they might not have the best technical skills, but they go all in. They go where it hurts for them and for the opponent, of course, too. And that's why they just love him. They're happy to have a right back now who's really, who's learned it, who knows how to play the position, and who's got the right spirit. So that I'm not surprised that the fans as well as the management wants to keep him here if it's possible.
Yeah, exactly. Spirit was always one of the main points of his game, and I'm glad he's translated that for Schalke as well as for Everton. So do you think those kind of attributes, the mental attributes, could show the signs of leadership to become a captain in the future, maybe?
That's difficult to say. I really don't know that. He's so young and it's been his first season, so I guess he's got some. When you listen to him, and in Germany we get way closer to the players than 99% of the English professional clubs. So you can get a sense of how he is, behaving within the team, off the field, social skills and stuff like that. And I think he's got the potential, to be a leading player, an important player when he gains experience. But I think you should give him another 2-3 years of full professional football, 30-40 games a season, and then we will see, what his mental and social skills really, what they are, and if he could be a captain at some point. I wouldn't say no, but I don't know yet, to be honest.
Yeah, definitely. Where do you think he'll be playing that football in the future? Do you think the player actually himself, do you think he wants to make the move permanent? Because he does seem quite positive about his time in Germany so far.
I think he wants to stay in Germany. I think so. I think that's not a statement against Everton or the Premier League, but it's part of a bigger movement right now that young English players, come from Great Britain to Germany because they know they get lots of playing time here. They get more chances than in the English clubs that just spend so much money on foreign players, even number 9 to 15 in the league table. So they see big opportunities here, like Jadon Sancho did, like Robbie Matondo, and now Jonjoe Kenny, just to name 3 examples. And he loves it here. He's made some good friends with Weston McKennie, with Robbie, and with other players who speak the language. He's trying to learn German right now, which is a difficult language. So I understand that it's going to take him some time to do that. But I think he wants to stay here, to be honest. I don't know if it's possible, though. I don't know how Everton, wants to manage the position in the future.
Yeah. How much do you think he's worth in today's market if Everton were to sell him?
That is a very good question. From my money-wise conservative perspective, I would say he just had 1 full season, so you don't know how he will develop in the near and middle future. So, my feeling would be that it's 10 to 15 million in euros. So that would be like 8 to maybe 11, 12 million pounds. But now with the market being so overheated, I guess we're getting closer to like 15 to maybe 20 million pounds overall, with bonuses and whatever those contracts look like these days. Maybe you can figure out a way. If Jonjoe wants to stay here and, the club is not really into him, I don't know if that's the case, but you know what I mean? If they can't show him a true perspective of playing 30 to 40 games a season, maybe they can find a middle way. Maybe they loan him again with an option to buy him in the next summer. I don't. It will depend on if Schalke qualifies for the international competitions or not. It's looking good right now, but you don't know if what's going to happen in May. So I think the range is maybe 10 to 20 million pounds, depending on how the season develops and what the Everton management wants to do. If there's other options, I guess there will be other options. I mean, some English clubs should take a close look at him because he could be one a really, really solid option for the top teams up there.
Yeah, I do think though if he were to move away from Everton, I do think Schalke would be his first choice. Obviously, you've spoke about how much he likes it there at the moment, and I do think if he were to move from Everton, it probably would be Schalke because he seems to have settled in there well.
Yeah,
but
that's what I think so. I think so. I think he's intelligent enough to see that he got used to the environment.
Yeah.
He got used to the spirit around here. He knows he knows the players, the management, and all that kind of stuff. He knows they want him, they like him. So I don't see him as a player who just for a little bit of money or whatever to change clubs in high frequency. He wants to play and he wants to develop, and I think with the coach here, David Wagner, who really likes him and likes his style of game, I think that's a big plus for Schalke as well. The connection to the coach. So yeah, I think Schalke would be his first choice if they can work out something with Everton.
Yeah, going back to the situation at Everton, obviously at the moment we've got Seamus Coleman, who's come into his second half of his career, and then we've got Djibril Sidibe, who's on loan from Monaco at the moment with an option to buy. And I do think whether to keep Jonjoe Kenny at Everton or not massively depends on whether that option to buy for Djibril Sidibe is taken or not. But do you think if Jonjoe Kenny were to come back to Everton, do you think he could succeed?
Yes, no doubt, no doubt. I think he can. I think he's very clear about his goals and about the efforts he has to do to reach them. So yeah, there's not a lot to say about except that he could succeed if he stays healthy. You never know what the development at a club is at one point. We saw that last season here, which was a catastrophe. They almost got relegated to the second division. Now they're playing for the top 6 again. So you know what I mean. It's especially for a young player, it really depends on the environment in the club and the success of the club as well. But yeah, I think he can succeed.
Yeah, true. It's a club going in the right direction, definitely. Going back quickly to a point as well that we made before on like kind of the link between England and Germany at the moment in terms of bringing young players through. I've kind of tried to look at that from several perspectives. Is it kind of like English clubs using Bundesliga clubs to develop their players, or is it Germany taking advantage of kind of England's policy of buying foreign players to bring English players over to Germany? What kind of angle would you look at it from?
That's a difficult question. I think it's some sort of both, and maybe 2 or 3 more influences that and perspectives that you have to count on too. First thing I would say is that the English clubs have, with the big TV money coming in, they obviously they had so much to spend that it's easier at some point when the coach is the manager in England too, which is different than in Germany. You have a management above the coach. He wants to succeed quickly, and I can understand that they rather buy a 23-year-old, let's say, Spanish midfielder who has proved that he can play international competitions than the 19-year-old English whatever who comes from the academy, and you're not sure if he can stand the pressure in the Premier League with all the games and all the competitions that you guys have over there. So I can understand that, but on the other hand, of course, you waste so much potential, and at some point this potential has to go somewhere. So they looked at other markets, and Germany is one of the markets where you get the chance as a young player to get a lot of playing time. Obviously, because we don't have as many talents from Germany as we maybe had 10 years ago. Yeah. So there's more room for foreign players. But look at clubs like Dortmund, who spend little money on players like Sancho, Dembele, obviously came from France, but just to make the point about young players from foreign countries, and they sold them or will sell them for hundreds in the end. So yeah, maybe England is using the Bundesliga sort of, to grow their players, but they pay a high price for that. So, and you see Chelsea is just turning around and trying to not let those players go, like Hudson-Odoi and others. Manchester United, even though they're not playing a good season, they're trying to integrate more of their own players again. So I think there might be a change, because there's so much money going around. Even English teams have to look at Arsenal, who basically doesn't have any money to spend anymore, even though they get so many millions of TV money and sponsoring and whatever. So they all have to look for other opportunities.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. I'll let you get off to the press conference now anyway. But on that point, I do hope that Everton and Schalke can form a link in the future because it's profitable for both parties. I do think. And whatever happens with Kenny, I do think it'll be best for both parties. Hopefully, anyway. So yeah, thanks a lot for speaking to us today. Been brilliant. Hope you enjoyed watching Mark. Obviously, we'll tag his Twitter. Have a read of his material on Twitter because there's some quality stuff coming out. We'll tag his Twitter page and make sure you subscribe to the Toffee Blues YouTube channel. Thanks a lot for watching. Like the video, comment and subscribe. And join us next time on the Toffee Blues. Thank you.